It is the return of Topps Chrome Football 2025, the first time in a generation, football fans. Not only that, it's the return of snow here in Alberta in late April, whatever the heck that is. We're going to look at Topps Chrome Football today, which, if you've been paying attention to the market, is hot, very, very hot. We're going to go over a little bit of a housekeeping at first, just to kind of get everybody into what's going on in the football card market, what's going on with this year, considering Panini already made a licensed bunch of products with these same draft picks. We're going to go through some of the differences you'll notice in the Topps product releases as opposed to the Panini stuff, so football collectors can kind of get used to Topps as their new overarching brand of football products. And we'll take a look at some prices, some early sales. It's been about a week and a half since this stuff released. Hobby boxes here. What you see right now is an April 25th price. DA Card World and Dave Buster, any of that, or David Adams, David Busters. Wouldn't that be nice if David Busters? This is David Adams, about $1,100 American. You're going to get 20 packs, 4 cards per pack, and 1 auto is going to be guaranteed per box. What you're seeing over here on the left, that is your hobby box. The most sought after maybe version, the jumbo box, $2,200 American currently for one of these as of April 25th. 12 packs in a jumbo box, 11 cards per pack, and 2 autos per box. Like I said, release date April 15th, 2026. We're sitting about April 25th currently, so it's been about 10 days since release. We do have some early sales, but you got to imagine, even if a lot of the big hits have been hit, they're either being shipped from breakers to the people who got them on the breaks. They're being shipped out to grading right now, but there has been a couple of raw examples sold on eBay of some of the more sought after insert sets, case hits, SSPs, all that. So we will take a look at that. I want to talk first off a little pros and cons. I'm going to start with the good news first. I don't want to hurt your feelings right off rip. I want to start good news right off the top. And the number one piece of good news is that Topps is back with the NFL. And I think I front loaded the video with that, and I want to just reiterate it. I'm a big card fan. I'm pretty giddy about this. I don't know if you can hear my smile through the microphone, but I'm here for it. Topps is back with the NFL. Fanatics does a good job. Topps had every one of their brand ambassadors under the NFL banner, and even beyond that, on board with this. It was a phenomenal rollout. I'm looking forward to future product. I believe Finest might be next around the corner for football. We're going to talk about a little bit of the oversaturation of this year's product, but on a whole, on the totality, Topps being back in the NFL product business. That's what I want to see going forward for all the years that we're looking forward to. So, moving on the hype cycle, like I was saying, everybody under the Topps umbrella, ambassadors, everybody, my dog's barking, even the dog is hyped up about this. Everybody was doing a heck of a job rolling this out. The product looks gorgeous. It's Topps product. There's no way around the fact that it's Topps product, and they are the superior product out there. I do really like Upper Deck. Never was much of a Panini guy. I do really like Upper Deck. Do not get me wrong. I'm not dragging Upper Deck. Just Topps is the absolute. It's the utmost. If you're looking for a high bar to set, Topps definitely sets that high bar. And kudos to them, because as a consumer of their product, not only visually, but through the sports eye as a fan, just looking at the product from afar, and as a collector, asset holder, all encompass, Topps does a fantastic job. And their hype cycle going into this Topps Chrome football product was outstanding. Prestige of Topps Chrome is without question. Like I said, it's the Topps product. Not only is their quality good, but their provenance going back years and years, generations, back into the early days of season over season baseball product releases in the 50s. I mean, Topps is the preeminent brand in sports cards. There is no question about it. And the prestige of the Topps Chrome brand under that Topps umbrella even takes it to another level. It was the perfect brand to roll out. Football's license coming back to Topps. And I'm ecstatic. And I think you could tell by the prices of hobby and jumbo boxes, the market's pretty ecstatic. And last but not least, in the pro category, I think I had to throw this in, but Tom Brady just did an outstanding job on his end, getting involved with Topps, changing the names of his 14 card store locations across the United States to the Chrome Vault, I believe. It's Card Vault. Is that what the store is? He changed it, though, to kind of brand associate with the Topps Chrome release. Tom Brady is an amazing ambassador if you can get him on board, and he seems to not only financially be really invested in sports cards, but he seems to really be emotionally invested in sports cards. And when the more and more people that are associated with billionaires, with hedge fund managers, with anybody that will bring eyes and money into the sports card market, I know a lot of people that play at the retail level and kind of don't like the amount of money things cost. And I do understand that. And we're going to talk actually about this in the cons list. I know people really dislike new money, especially big money, coming into the hobby and really muffling it. But I feel like a rising tide raises all boats. And for the hobby to be strong, big money needs to have big money on the line because they won't let that fail then. And that, I think, makes our hobby strong at all levels. Tom Brady has a lot of leverage. He's a big network. He's a big name, and he doesn't associate his name with a lot of stuff. He, in the past, has obviously had a couple things that have not that he's been directly connected, but that he's associated his name with that hasn't worked really well. So I think he's very picky, but I feel like intrinsically he's very associated to cards emotionally and at his core. And I feel like going forward and as of today, he's been outstanding for Topps and outstanding for the card market and for this rollout. I think he did an excellent job. Those are the pros for Topps Chrome's rollout. How about the cons? Let's talk about a con or two. Other than the snow outside, the cons look like this. I had it without the word kind of there for at first, and I thought about it overnight, and I thought that's actually kind of mean. And I don't want to say kind of because I do really like a lot of people in this draft. I'm just thinking of it from a price perspective to buy into this product, and then longevity, where money tends to go with football. And it's quarterbacks, and we all know that. And what are our quarterback selections from a rookie class this year? Without even talking about print runs yet, we'll talk about it. Cam Ward. I do think Cam Ward, if we're talking about any of the quarterbacks that were drafted, that people are collecting their rookie cards, I do think Cam Ward out of the 2025 class is probably the one with the most likelihood of going places. I'm not a wizard. I can't see the future. That's just my hunch. My hunch could be garbage. It's been tons of garbage in the past, so I wouldn't put money on the things I say, but I have an opinion. Tyler Shuck looked really good. Jackson Dart looked good. Again, both them minimal game time experience. We didn't really see a ton of work, but what they did get on the field, the 6, 7, 8 games each of them got some time. They looked really, really capable. Could that be from the teams opposing them maybe taking the night? It could be a million multitude of factors. Let's not pretend like we do know, but Cam Ward got the most time, kind of looked like the most fundamentally sound if around him there was a core of guys that were. Does that mean he's going to pop off and become a Hall of Famer? Probably not. But if he did, that would be pretty much the only thing that raises his card values. And that's why I say mid-draft class. So if that hurts your feelings, I'm not trying to. I really like football, and I think all these guys are great. I just think on a card level, is it really there? Shadur? We're going to need a Hall of Famer out of those 4 quarterbacks, boys. I don't know. Licensed print run is doubled. I don't know how much product Topps is going to put out for 2025. They did this once before when they grabbed the license for the NBA a year ago. They redid an entire rookie class, the Wembanyama Brandon Miller rookie class. They redid the entire rookie class with the Topps logo, with the license. But that rookie class had already been done that same year by Panini with a license. That's what's happening again here with football this year. Is this draft class strong enough? If Cam Ward, if Shadur, if Shuck, if Dart aren't Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I'm not talking Fran Tarkenton, no Super Bowl, you snuck in because you excelled. No, I'm talking walking in first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. Are one of those guys? Because if not, these print runs with those prices we're seeing right now, those things worry me. Now, I don't think that necessarily is going to equate to the long-term viability or collectability of some of these really hard-to-hit inserts in this first Topps Chrome product with Mahomes and Allen. If he wins a Super Bowl, he will be a Hall of Famer. But if he wins a Super Bowl, there's some really nice first-time SSP insert case hits that we're going to see later on that understandably make this product sought after. But I wonder if the rookie cards, the numbered out of 199s, that stuff, if that won't just be so saturated if one of these guys ain't Mahomes. And speaking of no Mahomes, no Patrick Mahomes autographs inside this product. Patrick Mahomes is still a exclusive athlete over at Panini as of right now. He is not signed with Topps. So while you do get a bounty of Tom Brady stuff in this product, which I know everybody likes. There is no Patrick Mahomes. No Patrick Mahomes autos yet. There is Patrick Mahomes cards. There's licensed Mahomes product. Just no Mahomes autograph. So that does kind of sully the first year launch. You don't have the A1 guy that's the face of your league at the moment in the product, at least with the ink. That seems to maybe tamper it just slightly, just ever so slightly. And price to hit ratio. This is going to be a complaint you see with a lot of releases. Hype drives prices. These boxes rip in the first couple of weeks, especially on launches like this where the product is just so hot. And how can you debate it? I understand where people's enthusiasm is, but at the same rate, you're not getting the hits out of that are going to equate to getting a monetary return. If you're not spending money that you're happy to just let go, you might see a lot of money go out the door and you might get your feelings hurt. And that doesn't sound very fun. We don't want you getting your feelings hurt. So price to hit ratio can be quite complex, especially in the early days of this stuff. Problem is if the guys stay hot or the product stays hot, the product might not come down, so you may not actually see this ever come back to a realistic level. So your price to hit ratio always may stay skewed in regards to ripping this product. So at any point here and in the future, you may have to just kind of mentally decide, well, I'm willing to waste this money, or you know what, this is something I'm just willing to skip. So those are the pros and cons. One final piece of housekeeping. I want to talk about the MVP buyback promotion. If you're not familiar with TOPPS, TOPPS does this over in their baseball product with flagship chrome. Redeem at your local TOPPS hobby retailers for in-store credit. It is Matthew Stafford. He is the reigning MVP. So what you can redeem is the Matthew Stafford base cards or any of the variants of the base cards, moving all the way up. So $20 for a base card. For any number of base cards, it's all TOPPS credit. And then it's up to $200 for higher level parallels. What you see on the left is Matt Stafford's one-of-one Superfractor autograph. You're going to get more than $200 on eBay for that card. I'll give you more than $200 for that card. Don't take that card in there. So definitely as you get into the parallels, be a little fastidious about your price checking. Don't just make obligations to take things into hobby stores and drop off a card that might be a $500 card and get $200. That might not also be too smart to do either. But this is for base cards, for Matt Stafford base cards, for the refractors. There's not a huge market to push Matt Stafford. If you can do that and get some TOPPS credit and buy yourself some other product, get yourself some other sealed wax or get some money taken off future receipts, that's all well and good. So I would go through with this. This TOPPS, like I said, this is something that they do over in the baseball product. They've done this for a few years now, since like the Aaron Judge, Paul Goldschmidt year. Over in baseball, they get an AL and an NL MVP. So you get two MVPs in the product. With this, you only get Matt Stafford this year. So now we're going to take a look at some of the cards in this product, some of the things people are looking for, the prices that we've seen in the first 10 days, and what I kind of think about the aesthetic and my general review, as if my opinion really matters to any of us here. Oh, another thing that can be a little tricky if you're new to TOPPS. I guess I should break this down, hence the reason I've got a slide ready to break it down. So this is an image variation. What you see here on the left, this one over here, this is Cam Ward's image variation rookie card. This one over here on the right, this is the base rookie card. So if you're new to TOPPS, this can be a little bit confusing because if you look at both of these cards, nothing really looks off about either of them. So there's nothing really to tell you, telltale sign-wise, that this card on the left is the image variation. Sometimes. 50% of the time, the card looks a little off. Like if you look at the Jackson Dart one, where they're showing Dart's rear end, you're like, yeah, Dart's got a big dumper, but I don't really see that being his like base rookie card. It's a really cool image variation though. I feel like it really shows homie could probably run the rock if we needed him to do that too. So Cam Ward here on the left. If you look here at the top on the back of the card, there's serial number right here. So take a look. Up here, I got it zoomed in, 486. So all of the image variations are going to have this different serial number. Over here on the right, this is your base card. So all of these are going to be the same across all base cards throughout the set. They're going to have 257 as their last three digits in their serial number right here. And you can see 314 is the back of this card. That's the number. 314 is the number on this card. So if you're new to TOPPS, much like with some of the other things with Topps, like the MVP buyback, this image variation thing can be a little tricky, sneak up on you, and you could take a card like the card on the left and think it's just a base regular card and sell it off for the regular price without really kind of like making a double check. So take a look at those serial numbers if a card looks off. Not all cards have image variations. Keep that in mind. Base, 1 in 234 hobby packs, 1 in 71 jumbo packs, and for rookie image variations, 1 in 351 hobbies and 1 in 106 jumbos. That Cam Ward's nice. Like I said, the Jackson Dart, he's like walking down the sideline. It's like a side profile. Dude's got quads. What, like, in the comments, first off, go like, subscribe. If you've made it this far to listen to me bloviate about sports cards, you could at least like and subscribe. My cat's meowing. My cat wants you to subscribe. The cat's probably meowing because the dog's outside. Listen to that cat. What a crank, bro. Hey, settle down over there. So, yeah, like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think on that Jackson Dart photo, what you think Jackson Dart actually squats. I gotta figure it's like, he's putting up 485, 495, right? He's putting up 4 or 5 plates aside. My he's got wheels on him. Carrying on, another product you can expect to find, well, maybe caveat. Me and you cannot expect to find this, but people out there in the world will find this. Backyard Break's going to find this. NFL Shield 1 of 1. You see the shield. You see my man Josh Allen. You hear my cat. There's an autograph. Jared Verse up here. Jaden Daniels. Beautiful cards. 1 of 1. Just more stuff you're going to see in this product. It's gorgeous. The aesthetic on that's gorgeous. I love it. Tom Brady, I was telling you there's lots of Tom Brady, and there is going to be, and there's always going to be more strength in a product when it's entrenched with the good players. Like I said, I want Mahomes in there. I want to see Mahomes autographs. I want to see more Tom Brady. So you see a Superfractor 101 here in the middle. You see a Refractor on card Tom Brady autograph with him in the Bucks outfit. Fortune 15 card. Just one of the many inserts Tom is on. But Tom proliferates the set, and despite being gone into retirement and owning the Raiders and doing a bunch of other things, we like Tom Brady all over our football product because Tom Brady is the best. He's the best. And that's coming from a Bills fan. So soak that up. More stuff you can expect to see is plenty of numbered and colored parallels with wave rays and pulsars and diamonds and sparkles and refractors and scratch and sniff lima bean, all sorts of, there's going to be all sorts of this. Because much like with Panini, even more so with Topps, there is a heck of a lot of colors and things zip-zapping and bedazzling stuff. And I like it, but it's immense, and we're not going to go through all of it because that would all send us down some sort of a rabbit hole we'd never probably psychologically recover from. But that's okay. We can look at a little bit of it. Here you got a Drake May red, some sort of something. I'm sure it's a refraction of some type out of 5. I would imagine most of the reds in this set out of 5. Like I said, there's going to be a ton of this stuff. Blues and oranges and greens and whites and it's all sorts of. There's a black Adrian Peterson, 7 out of 10 on-card auto. Beautiful cards. And a Caleb Williams orange, numbered out of 25, 18. We've got a jersey number here, 1818. On-card auto of who I do think was probably the quarterback in the last few years that's really gonna, but I could be wrong. I like Caleb Williams a whole heck of a lot. More product that you can expect to find deep inside this Topps Chrome release, and I'm telling you, some of these odds, they get pretty difficult. The Superfractor 1 of 1 rookie NFL logo patch auto here. You see on the left, 1 of 1, as numbered by our friend Jackson Dart with the quads we mentioned earlier in the NFL patch rookie card. It's gross. We won't be having it. It's fine. It's fine. Rookie patch auto, the RPA. If you ever hear people in the card world say the acronym RPA, that's what they're talking. Rookie patch auto. Here it is right here. Jaden Blue. This one not numbered. Just a pretty standard piece of a napkin. Jaden Blue rookie card auto. That is procurable by you and me, my friends, if you're a Jaden Blue fan. But that Jackson Dart one over there, You might as well get your stroke on now because you ain't going to be holding that thing in your hand. You could be holding something in your hand. It's not going to be that, though. I assure you of that. Or if you do get that, shout out to you and send me the photo of you holding that in your hand. And we'll be buddies. And I will have the utmost admiration for you, my friend. Because I do think Jackson Dart's going to be good. And if you pull that, that's boss. Talk about a pull. Chromographs. You see over here Ashton Genty, who had kind of a mid-season. Raiders were a little mid, though. Am I right? Drafted first overall, Fernando Mendoza. I've been playing Fernando by ABBA for like 3-4 days now. It's excellent. It really goes with the moment. I'm a pseudo Raiders fan. Tough to not be a Raiders fan. I grew up with the NWA and stuff, so like the Raiders have always been kind of in the background of the culture I like the most. So I love Raiders logo, Raiders Nation, as you may call it. So this chromograph, it's a gorgeous card, numbered out of 50. These are all deep inside the product as well. Ashton Genty, though, needs himself an offensive line if they're going to get his running game started before the man has to start filing for Social Security. And he's only a first year in. Power players, 1 in 9 packs. Justin Jefferson. I love the look of this. I do really like the background look. What is that? Is that kind of a 90s sort of aesthetic? What would we call that? I do really like the colors. I'm not huge on red a lot of the time, and especially with like a purple in front, really dominant purple on Justin Jefferson's Vikings outfit. You wouldn't think that looks really good, but for some reason the red in play, it still looks excellent. Really like that card. 1 in 9, you're going to find those inside of a hobby box. Before I go, or before I like get really ripping on all this stuff, I want to mention, if you see single odds up here, these odds are not retail odds. These odds are not hanger pack odds. These odds are not mega box odds. These odds are hobby odds on this page. We will go further on where I will put hobby and jumbo odds. If you're ripping retail, a lot of the parallels, a lot of the inserts, a lot of that stuff is tempered down considerably. You can rip retail at your own risk. Trust me, rip hobby jumbo breakers, like rip that at your rip or whatever the other thing, rip all that at your own risk because yeah, spooky on all levels, but I can tell you retail is really, it's a tepid pool to play in, so I didn't really break a lot of that down. So if you do rip retail, kudos to you, get after it, and hopefully you hit all the good stuff, but I'm breaking hobby and jumbo down. All chrome team. Beautiful card. Amon-Ra St. Brown, a team that I think is definitely due for that big playoff run. They had one a couple of years ago. They're on both sides of the ball. They're built for it. They're still young. Goff is amazing. They're stacked up. Can they stay healthy on the field? Jameson Williams, obviously Jahmyr Gibbs. Like they're great. They're great. I really want to see Detroit do well. I'd love to see a Lions-Bills Super Bowl. That would really tickle my fancy, but then I would be somewhat conflicted. Well, I wouldn't be. I would be conflicted when my Bills had to stomp them out. So I would be conflicted, like I'd feel bad for them, but I wouldn't feel so bad. I wouldn't want that stomping still to happen. But you get my drift. Beautiful card though of Amon-Ra St. Brown. 1 in 15 packs. And more Tom, because we love Tom here, as a reformed Tom Brady hater, someone who can admit, hand to God, I wasn't a Tom Brady fan. I wanted to see Tom Brady not do well, maybe in life, but that didn't work out. And turns out Tom was really good at a lot of things, and pretty tough not to admire Tom. So Fortune 15, 1 in 11 packs. Tom taught me that I shouldn't test Tom, because Tom's always going to rise to the occasion. And good for him. Glad he's on my side in the card market. Love you, Tom. Keep doing you, buddy. There's Tom again in the that Patriots outfit. That's the one I don't like. It's a gorgeous jersey, but I do not like looking at him wearing that jersey. There were 20 years of that. Wow. Wow. Legends of the Gridiron, 1 in 9 in the hobby, 1 in 5 in the jumbo. Gorgeous card. That one's out of 50. That's not what these numbering on the right are for. It would be just the base Legends of the Gridiron. Obviously, there's numbered variations of all sorts of things, color You know how this goes. The rabbit hole just keeps going. I think there's 97 million cards or something in this set. I saw a big checklist. Really, it's pretty ridiculous. But a lot of it's Tom, so that really takes the edge off. Because there's Tom, not really a fan of the Patriots, but that's okay. Some of the other parallels you're going to see sought after by collectors, TOPPS Chrome, just hitting on all levels. There's just so many of them though. So like if you're setting your heart off to like try to collect all of these or like finish a whole range, you're probably barking up the wrong tree, but good luck. It's a heck of a chase to go after. Here's a Travis Hunter rookie card in a beautiful etch. You can see the design in the background, all sorts of scrawling on the card. Love it. Looks beautiful. We've seen these in basketball this year, the basketball chrome. I've seen the Cooper flag and the Con Knipple and all that. Frozen fractors. These are negatively numbered from, I think 5. So I think it's -5, -4, and all the way down, and it's out of 0. Pretty cool cards. Has like kind of the negative image on it with all the ice crystals over it and kind of the blue sheen. Really nice cards. And the light board cards, here you see a Joe Alt version. You see all these little light boards like you used to see up in like rafters and stuff when you would see big boards in stadiums, and it's a beautiful card. You see on the background, it's not the normal base card background, despite being the base card image. It's got the Chargers logo. All the light boards are like that. Gorgeous stuff, man. So much to collect. It's difficult as a Topps Chrome collector to really set your sights on one piece of product, to be straight honest with you. And a couple more just to clean up some of the lower level things you're going to find in hobby and in jumbo. Future stars in hobby, 1 in 15. You see a CJ Stroud there. Beautiful look. Very iconic from baseball. If you're a baseball guy, that look right off rip. It stands out like a sore thumb. I like it. I'm a baseball guy. 1975 variation. You see a throwback here. 1 in 11 packs. Bucky Irving from the Bucks. And a card that I'm not really feeling. And if you go to the market, these cards are not very expensive. 50, 60 bucks. When you take a look at the packs, 1 in 1160 packs. These cards aren't. These are my most disappointing card of this product. All right, you know what? We've been glazing Topps for about 30 minutes now. We can take a little sidebar and say, like, 1 in 1160 packs. You got to be misprinting that. What are you doing over there? That should have been a 1 in, like, 6 pack. Like, that was a terrible insert set. I'm not sure what you guys were thinking on this one specific thing. I'm not going to let you guys slide on it. This here was a miss. You really slipped on that. I don't see the long-term viability of hitting this. If you hit this as your case hit, you're going to be a little disappointed. It's going to take a little of the fun out. But we're going to look now at the ones that are going to add all the fun and some of the money. Because if you look at some of these early first week sales, ching, there was a couple crazy ones. So let's take a look at some of the bigger hitters. And I know what you're thinking to yourself. You're thinking big? How big could they really get? They're so big, she's going to still be choking on it tomorrow. That's how big like this. Take a look. Kaiju. This is what's up. Dun, 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 dun. What? 1 in 2,319 hobby packs, 1 in 929 jumbos. I'm not entirely sure on the checklist on this. I got to imagine it's astronomical. I think this Brady we're looking at here might have been the 101. Don't quote me on that, but $20,000. It's in Canadian, so I know that's like pirate bucks. You're not really going to take that too seriously, but I'm assuring you that's like $15,000 American or somewhere around there. That's a crazy price. Crazy. Ungraded. It's like Brady's been retired for a decent minute now, a minute or two, but still demanding big. You got to think a lot of this stuff's off the grading. Like I said, we're not going to see a lot of the really good top end examples until we see a lot of this stuff coming back in the next month or so from the expedited grading process at PSA, where PSA is already so far behind. They definitely should be allowing a lot of this new stuff to jump the line, and they will be, because if it's a 1-to-1 Tom Brady with a hit rate like that, it's jumping the line, because that's a photo op and a half. This Jalen Hurts, come on, these are gorgeous. I can't say anything about this. This is Topps killing it. You know, when you're just redlining and like you're just killing it, you're passing everybody inside, outside. Like you could do no wrong. Topps doing no wrong here. So when we talked earlier, way at the beginning of this video, before you completely tuned me out, when we talked earlier and I said, you know, the print run, the doubled up licenses, the Panini run, the top, this is what's going to buoy this set. Is these case hits are crazy. This crushes. I'm in love. Here's another big one. Let's go! Exclamation point. Probably my least favorite phrase in the hobby. Sometimes I hear these really high-pitched "let's go" on videos, and I want a Superman punch through the screen so bad. 1 in 48,258 hobby packs. That is basically, you're never finding it. Don't bother looking for it. You're a ridiculous person, but it was cute that you brought it up. And 1 in 9,611 jumbo packs, almost on the same level of you're better off trying to find, I don't know, like there's got to be El Dorado, Atlantis. Well, what are we looking for here? You're not gonna find this, but it's cool. Here's a Joe Burrow, surprisingly low priced, but I mean Burrow. I gotta feel like some of the sheen's starting to wear off Burrow as far as the card market goes, right? We need to see a little something here this year from Joe. He was red hot for a lot of years and like held some ground, I thought, that maybe he hadn't earned yet. And I feel like a lot of people, it's starting to reflect to a degree. I would imagine a Mahomes sale to a similar degree would be considerably higher. I feel like the checklist for this Let's Go is really small. I think I heard 5 cards. I could be entirely wrong though. Those are really nice. The Burrow is the picture from the auction, so I can't do much about our photography skills of our friend here down at the bottom. But on the right, that Mahomes, I drew that. I drew that. That was all me. So you're welcome. No, I didn't draw that. That's a better picture though, and you can see how it accurately represents really how nice that card is. And I'm jealous because I won't own one, but I like it. But if you do have one of these and you want to get rid of it and just send it to me as like a buddy, that'd be like solid. That'd be solid. I'd love you. Anyways, moving on. Probably the nicest card in the entire set. You can fight me if you don't like it. I don't know. I like the matte border here on the edges that I really feel like it boxes in the art. The art is this beautiful busyness, sort of a pseudo anime comic. It's got sort of Spawn sort of vibes coming off it. There's all sorts of busy. I love it. I love it. This is very reminiscent of if you watched my previous video on the Upper Deck Flare release, the picture in picture, the smaller and the superimposed version of the same guy over and above him. I really like this look. I love this art. I love this the font they've used for Dart here and for Mahomes over. Think these look amazing. These are 1 in 1160 hobby packs, 1 in 464 jumbos, ultraviolet. You can see this Mahomes here sold on a buy it now, $1,575 Canadian Pirate bucks. Beautiful stuff. I love it. This is my favorite one. Right, I would say for sure. The Dart is definitely something if this came across my timeline for the right price, I think I would probably think about maybe sitting on that one. It's great, and that looks like it's going to be a difficult one to grade. If you could pull one, like not only just like obviously you're going to get a nice boundary here to let you know what the bordering is like, but it just looks like that these edges and corners are probably going to be terrible to try to grade. So if you hit one in a high grade and it's the right guy, that looks like that's going to be a really nice card. Here's one that's getting a lot of hype, and personally, I don't really find this overly, it's kind of whack color blaster. I don't even know. Like this one doesn't make it move. It's not doing it for me. I've heard a lot of people really like this one. Don't listen to what I have to say. I'm just kind of giving you my 2 cents. It's a beautiful card, and don't get me wrong, it's very sought after. 1 in 2,559 hobby packs, 1 in 859 jumbo packs. You see the Travis Hunter rookie card here sold on bids, ungraded, 835, 76 Canadian. Gorgeous stuff. It's tops. But if we're talking about the rarity here and then comparing it to its brethren, this card, that Mahomes, that Kaiju, I'm just really having trouble putting this at the top of the pecking order. So now if we've looked at what we would consider ostensibly 4 of the big boy hits inside of the product, this would land in 4th. I think you would agree with me. I don't know. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments, but I think it lands in 4th. Carrying on, another nice card that I think jumps the Helix, but maybe not jumps the other 3 that we've talked about in these bigger hitters. Game Genies, really nice. Look at that Saquon. That is beautiful stuff. I would like to see kind of what the refraction looks like. I'd like to see if it's somewhat isolated to just certain spots on the card or if it's just a whole overlay of refracting. I feel like this card would dance a lot more if they put the refracting in a certain spot to kind of make it look like the magic that's going around Saquon was kind of illuminating him with an aura and not just kind of overlaying an entire like refractor. If you've seen in hockey a couple of years ago, the Skybox Metal had an insert set that's quite the sidebar into hockey. Macklin Celebrini has a card. It's called Dawning, and it has him skating on like a pond, and you see the sun coming up, but the sun reflecting only has foil in a certain spot on the card, so it looks like the sun hitting the ice. It is a piece of art. I'm telling you what. The first time I held this card in my hand and I played with it under the light, yeah, right under the light, out in the open, I was looking at it, playing with it. It's amazing. So this card, I'd like to see what the refracting does, because I feel like playing with like a specific section of refraction rather than an entire overlay was really going to be the hit or miss on this thing. Here you see Lamar Jackson sold $959 Canadian on 11 bids on the 24th of April. Couple of sales out there. This one, I might be a bit of a contrarian on this. I like the set. It's got players from the Tecmo Bowl, like Super Bowl video game in, I want to say 1988. It might be 89, but I feel like it's 1988. Don't quote me on that though, or correct me. That would be fine. And it's also got modern players. So as you see here on the left, I really like this. Brian Bosworth, $657.65, 21 bids. John Elway down here, $2,300 on the bin. These are really nice. These are really nice. I don't know if you recognize this number 15 guy here. This is somebody that played for the Chiefs or does. He's a guy. Some guy. I don't think his autos are in the product, from what I heard. I heard that from a guy who talks a lot earlier. This Tecmo Super Bowl cards, these are monsters. They're Bo Jackson out there. It's a monster. They showed a picture of the 101 auto. It's a monster. These are gorgeous. People really love them. I'm going to be a bit of a contrarian and still say they fall heavily behind at least 3 of the other cards we've seen. I really, really think the Kaijus are better. I really think the Ultraviolets are better. I would put this ahead of the Game Genies. Funny enough, I would put this side by side with the Game Genies, both 8-bit Nintendo references. That's kind of interesting. I don't know where Topps was going with that, but I like it. Both 8-bit Nintendo references. I would put them kind of side by side. One in 928 hobby, one in 372 jumbos. These are heavily sought after. Don't listen to them just because I'm not thinking they're the greatest. I'm not a huge fan of the horizontal card. I don't know what everybody else thinks. The horizontal cards just don't do it for me a lot of times. This one's nice. I would put this maybe ahead of the Tecmo. So you might not like me at the end of this video, eh? Shadow Etch, I think this looks great. That Cam Ward on the right is amazing. There's a Puka Nakua, went for only $113. 387 hobby packs, 151 jumbo packs is what you're going to rip to hit one of these. I think they look real. Nah, they're not better than the. No. I'll take that back. The more I look at it, it's nice. I don't want to get so far over my skis. I'm making stupid claims and make myself look foolish. It's not better than the Tecmo or the Genie, but man, would that be better than still? I might like that better than the Helix. You know what? It's not better than Let's Go. This Mahomes looks amazing. That background, that's crushing there and that right there, right? Like, whoo. Tell me you don't just want that as like a poster in your room. Like, if you're an Eagles fan, that Eagles poster right there on your wall, they did it right there. That brings it all home. Topps is doing amazing work out here in the field. I think Helix might be worse, though, than the Shadow Edge. Radiating rookies. We're almost at the end. Radiating rookies here. Beautiful color burst in the background of our friend Travis Hunter over there on the left. You can see a sale of the exact same card, $685 Canadian on one bid, 1 in 580 hobbies, 1 in 232 jumbo packs. Beautiful card. Really, really like it. This is where we're starting to get into stuff where you're like, yeah, but if I hit this instead of one of those other ones we talked about when I was ripping stuff for $10,000, I might be a little upset. This might not make me feel too fulfilled. Now, to finish this video off, I think we've looked at everything here. You've gotten a good idea of what Topps Chrome is. Nobody's telling you to buy it. Nobody's telling you not to. You do what you want to do. I just wanted to give you a full rundown. I'm going to just take you through a couple of recent sales. First 10 days. This is not an example of what the sales you should be comping to are. Sales in the early portion of any kind of product release are extremely skewed. We all know that, but I did want to give you a couple of examples. Let's take a look at those. So up here in the left corner, you can see, and this is going to be again, extenuating example, one that I wouldn't buoy my sales in the future, purchases in the future on, but it's early, and it gives us at least a snapshot of what's going on in people's heads in the market, at least one person's head maybe in the marketplace as of right now, April 25th, 2026. Travion Henderson, 1 of 1, 2025 Topps Chrome Premier Patch Auto rookie card. Gorgeous stuff. Someone took less than $35,000 for that. This is in America now because I went to the US eBay so that I could get all the best sales data I possibly could for you. Over here on the right, Cam Ward rookie auto, on card auto, Tecmo Super Bowl, case hit, beautiful card. Someone took a little less than 15,000 US. You see another highly sought after image variation, Cam Ward, numbered out of 10, black geometric, obviously all ungraded, under $10,000 US. That might not have been, these might not be terrible in the long run. I don't know what we all think of Cam Ward. I guess we're going to have to let it all play out. It might not be even what we all think of Cam Ward. It might be a case of what we all think of the Tennessee Titan organization and can they actually build around somebody. We've seen a multitude of times. Vince Young came in. That was supposed to change the game. Obviously, Vince Young wasn't the guy. Marcus Mariota came in. Mariota was supposed to, that didn't do anything. We haven't seen really anything there since Steve McNair was there? I don't really know. Tennessee's going to need to show me something that they can build a guy because this might be a case of where this guy doesn't look like he's very good. And then 3, 4, 5 years from now, he goes like Sam Darnold somewhere else and shows all of us he could have been a starter in a franchise that knows how to actually take care of itself. So this might be a case of just being cursed with Tennessee. Personally, I really like Cam Ward. Over on the ball. That's my little rants. You know my little sidebar rants? I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep doing that. That's just kind of how my brain works. Tops, Chrome, Football, Caleb Williams, Kaiju, Case Hit, SSP, another guy I really like who seems to be in an organization who maybe finally has it together. Let's go Bears. It would be awesome to see them finally turn a corner, get themselves a cornerstone quarterback. That's a lot of bars right there. Turn a corner, cornerstone quarterback. Can you, wow, I can really put it all together there. That's going to be outstanding if Caleb Williams can do that because the Bear organization definitely deserves it. The Bears fans are super loyal. That team's super tough. And I want to see home playoff games in Chicago year over year over year where it's cold and the weather comes into that. Isn't it fun having the Bills back in the playoffs? We always have inclement weather. Like it makes such an extra element to the game that I think is unpredictable. Personally, I love it for playoff football, and I want to see Caleb Williams and Cam Ward do good. More Cam Ward. There's the Kaiju, $7,100 on his Kaiju. You see Tom Brady on the Ultraviolet up here, $7,000 American on that. Jackson Dart, True Gold Refractor, auto, numbered out of 50, $6,600. That looks like a gorgeous card. All of these look really good. I don't really like the 1990 throwback Jackson Dart. This is not a card I really enjoy. $6,100 on this geometric numbered out of 25. You are not getting $6,100 out of me for this 1990 card. This one here in the bottom right corner, that makes me sad. That's not a sale for me. That's a terribly ugly card, personally. I don't find anything about that appealing. These other three, crush, tops. If you're doing 3 for 4, for really gnarly cards, you're doing a good job because these other three just look unbelievable. Looking at some more CJ Stroud. Not Marcus Stroud anymore. No, Marcus Stroud, totally different football player. But former Bill. Tops Chrome Red Refractor Auto, CJ Stroud, numbered out of 5, $5,600 US. You see the Tom Brady over here in the Game Genie SSP case hit, sold for a little less than 35 with whatever that is that British pounds. That might be, again, the 90 card, not for me, geometric, numbered out of 2, Tyler Shuck, $3,300. That might actually be a really good deal. Out of 2 for Shuck, rookie, on card. That's pretty nice for that price, but I don't like the card. So I'm really conflicted about that. I'm not overly sold on Shuck, so would I do it? Maybe not, but if you were sold on Shuck, you might have done really well on that deal. I kind of like that deal for whoever got it. And if you can just like stomach the fact that that card is ugly to look at, that might be a decent card to flip in the future, though. 2025 Tops Football Super Fractor 1 of 1, A.J. Brown. Sold for a little less than $3,000 US. A.J. Brown probably on the move, maybe the last super fractor from the Topps Chrome product in that Eagles jersey where A.J. Brown won a Super Bowl as a receiver one and is still potentially that caliber as of right now. And I believe this is the last one. I thank you for joining us. If you made it this far through all this rambling, like, subscribe, send me your recommendations for maybe who could help. I'm sure it's probably going to take a team of them, but if they could help, yeah, I would be willing to sit down with all type of medical professional to try to get myself out of this whatever mental issue that it is I have. Topps Chrome, NFL, Caleb Williams, Superfractor 101, Power Players. Again, really like this look. Does this look, is there an MC Hammer album, the pre-album before the Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em with you can't touch this, is the album. Does that look like the cover of it? Is that what I'm seeing in the background? Is that what's so familiar? You know what? I'm going to post a picture of that just to like reconfirm that I'm not crazy about that. $2,400, 101 Caleb Superfractor, 2,400. That's not too bad. Topps Chrome Tyler Shuck Gold Wave. Now that is so much nicer than that 1991 Gold Wave out of 50 for less than $2,500. That was probably the move if you really believe in Shuck. That is a gorgeous card. Topps Chrome Justin Jefferson on card auto black, 8 of 10. That, I mean, under $2,500. If you're a Justin Jefferson guy, the blacks are always gorgeous cards. And the gold Caleb Williams over here, numbered out of 50, on card autograph, $3,000 American, right on the dot. That wraps up a long and intensive, and I'd like to think somewhat thorough look at the Topps Chrome Football 2025 product that is encased our market right now in hype, in money, in all the conversations. And I'm having a blast with it. I hope you guys had a blast. Like, subscribe, stay cool. Peace.